All right, let's talk about the powerful forces behind our planet's biggest storms. We're going to dive into the science of cyclonic and frontal weather systems. These are the engines that drive everything from a gentle shower all the way to a major flood.
Have you ever wondered about this? I mean, you know the feeling, right? One day it's a soft, steady rain that just hangs around for hours. The next day, a sudden, violent thunderstorm just explodes out of nowhere. It might feel totally random, but it's not. The answer is all about how these storms are born, and that's exactly what we're going to get into.
So, where do we even begin? Well, it turns out that all large-scale storms, no matter how different they might seem on the surface, share one single fundamental starting point, something we call a low-pressure system. Okay, so the best way to think about a low-pressure system is to picture it as a giant atmospheric engine. It's basically an area where the air pressure is lower than everything around it. And, nature hates an imbalance, so air from all sides just rushes inward to try and fill that space. And here's what happens next. First, all that air flows toward the center. Now it has nowhere else to go, so it's forced to rise up. As that air shoots upward, it hits lower atmospheric pressure, so it expands and cools way down. And just like seeing your breath on a cold day, that cooling causes invisible water vapor to condense, forming clouds and, eventually, rain. It's a simple but really powerful four-step process. So how exactly does this low-pressure engine power our storms? Well, let's look at our first major category, cyclones. Now, this family of storms has two very distinct members that you have definitely heard of. And the key thing to really get here is the sheer scale we're talking about. Cyclonic precipitation is not some brief little localized shower. No way. These are massive, rotating systems that can cover hundreds, even thousands of miles, and totally dominate the weather forecast for an entire region. And this is where they're different. You've got tropical cyclones, so think hurricanes or typhoons. These are born over warm ocean waters, and they're defined by their incredibly low central pressure, which acts like a giant vacuum, fueling those infamous intense rains and crazy powerful winds. And then you have extratropical cyclones. These are the big, sprawling weather systems you see in the mid-latitudes, and their defining feature is that they're tied to fronts, which are basically these dramatic collision zones in the atmosphere. And that brings us perfectly to our second major pathway for storms. See, if cyclones are often about a single giant engine, frontal systems are all about the drama. It's about what happens when two totally different air masses collide. It's honestly that simple. Just imagine a huge mass of warm, moist air running smack into a dense mass of cold, dry air. They don't just, mix together nicely. One has to get up and out of the way. And, as we just learned, anytime you force moist air to rise, you get clouds and you get rain. And this right here, this is the answer to our question from the very beginning. A warm front is what happens when warm air kind of gently glides up and over a colder air mass. It's a slow, gradual climb, and that's what produces that light to moderate, long-lasting rain, your classic all-day drizzle. But a cold front, that's a whole different beast. Here, the cold air acts like a bulldozer, aggressively shoving warm air straight up and fast. That rapid lift creates intense, heavy rain over a really short time, and that is your sudden, powerful thunderstorm. Okay, so we get the science happening way up in the sky. But why does this matter so much for us down here on the ground? Well, this is where the science literally hits the pavement, shaping the world all around us, from the streets we walk on to our biggest buildings. And there it is. That's the crucial point. These storms aren't just some fascinating weather events to watch on the news. They are forces that can dump rainfall over enormous areas, which makes them directly responsible for some of the most destructive major floods we see. This is exactly why engineers are so deeply invested in weather science. They use this data for things like flood frequency analysis, trying to predict how often a major flood might hit a certain area. And that knowledge directly informs the design of massive structures like reservoirs and dams to make sure they can handle a worst-case scenario. It's also vital for large-scale water planning, and it even dictates the design of the storm drains running right under our own city streets. So you see, it all connects. Knowing whether a region is more likely to get the long, soaking rain of a warm front or the intense, rapid downpour from a cold front or a cyclone, well, that's absolutely critical. That knowledge is literally the difference between building infrastructure that fails and building infrastructure that keeps our communities safe. So we understand the mechanics behind these incredibly powerful weather systems. The question this leaves us with is a big one. For engineers, for city planners, really for all of us. How do we take this knowledge and use it to build smarter, more resilient communities that can actually thrive in a world shaped by these incredible storms? It's a huge challenge and one that's going to define our future. Thanks for digging into the science with me.